Make sure this is up. Alright, so shout out to my boy Galfano, such a good dude. Such a good dude, man. Great takes on games, football gaming. Wish he'd had a YouTube channel. Just like my boy Phil, Kami, Kiyoma. There's so many talented people. Wish they had YouTube channels. Make sure this is up. All right. Let's do it, lads. Let's do this and get into this game. So everybody has seen the latest update notes, and it's disappointing to say the least. Coming into checking in on UFL again, right? I kept getting requests from a lot of members that are still using my former tactics videos, which I truly appreciate. You guys are awesome, and I use one of my own tactics too. So it's nice to see that all the way back a ton of patches ago, making these tactics videos, they would last. As I check in the views, they go from 1K to 2K to 3K to 4K, and that's awesome. I'm glad they're still helping people. We were just checking into that. I never even recognized that. I just saw the comments of people coming in like, thanks for the tactics, and that's great that they still work. In a way, right, you would hope that because they're still usable, that the gameplay would be more like the original, which was, so far, to this day, the very best version of UFL. It was the most manual defense, which created the biggest skill gap. The best build up, everything was the best except for the over the top through balls. I'll tell you, UFL did a good job nerfing those. To be honest, Goals has an over the top through ball problem, or had it during the alpha. They may have already fixed it, but if not, they should look into UFL on how they took care of that with the lob through balls. The way that they hang up in the air, and you can't just, play them over and over and send players in. So good job there. But unfortunately, that's where it starts and ends. Everything else seems as if they went for more of an FC ripoff. And instead of just talking about that, I want to go into detail as to why the game's dead. It's no point in even looking at the notes because there's no nerf to the game changer or the long ranger shot, which is allowing people to score 50, 40, 30-yard goals at will. But I also understand why many do that, because park the bus is still a huge issue. I know one of the things they fixed with this update is they say they're going to move the midfielders further up the pitch so that players can't just defend with their midfielders, a huge problem that's typically in FC too. However, it's not going to be enough. How do I know this? Because they've done this a ton of times. They've made it to where there's bigger gaps between the back four. and or back five or back three, whatever you play. They've done it where they've pushed the midfielders up, pushed the whole line up. It doesn't matter. You still end up with teams parking the bus, winning the ball, sprinting up the pitch with R1, R2, which is still nothing even said about that, and then using the lob cross glitch. So, or if not the lob cross glitch, the through ball glitch. If not the through ball glitch, the long ranger 50-yard shot. None of that was touched, literally. So I'm going to show you in a game where there actually wasn't any of those abused mechanics and glitches. The reason why is because when you put all this together, this is what makes UFL a dead game. Now, why do I say dead game? When you compete in any sports game, you want there to be a skill gap. You want there to be a purpose behind putting in work and playing and competing, to where you go in and you know if you play better than the other person, you are going to win the game. Or you get at least somewhat of a similar feeling to the sport you're playing a simulation of. You get zero of that in UFL, right? The gimmicky playstyle, or what they call ability perks, the nonsense with the connection or lagginess or glitchiness, whatever you want to call it, the servers are now a huge issue, just like they are in FC. Now, allegedly, it's because they shut down servers around the world. Even if that isn't true, it doesn't really matter, right? Because if they wanted to hide it, they did a good job of that. But you can't hide the fact that the game is much worse connection-wise. Even just now in the chat, Dexhog says, is it just me, or does this game feel very laggy and rubber banding? And yes, you are absolutely correct. It does. And there was a specific time when this started, and that's also the time when allegedly several servers around the world got shut down. These are all issues that couldn't be fixed with updates anyways, but the things that could be fixed with updates were not. So this is a game between myself in the white, my opponent in the yellow and black. This is a game where there wasn't many abused mechanics or glitches. We're just going to all agree that those broken mechanics, abused glitches are terrible for the game. Okay? But when you add what I'm going to show you in 4K through a game, it just totally destroys any reason to play the game. Unless you totally do not care about playing a true football simulator, unless you totally don't care about having any true skill gap. If you're okay with going into a game against opponents that not only don't have skill, but also are the rat losers of the football gaming world that are playing this game particularly to win without skill, that's the only players who are going to have fun. And I'd hate to tell you this, guys, but there's not going to be enough of those players to keep this game afloat. The numbers keep dwindling. The coverage of this game / content creation keeps dwindling. You have English speakers watching Spanish or Italian speaking content creators now because there's nobody else streaming the game. You have tons longer wait times. You have tons of repeat opponents. You play the same players over and over and over again. They're paying these content creators from other games to come over, and never do these content creators continue playing the game. They play the amount of games that make the amount of videos they were paid to do, and then they leave. You have to read between the lines and see all of this. This is about as straightforward of a game as you're going to get without any of the nonsense, and it's still complete nonsense. That is a huge issue. So far, nothing terrible. You can see a bit of the delay. If you play it, you're going to feel it. This isn't one of those things. It's just like FC now, where you can pass the ball sometimes, literally go eat a sandwich before the pass goes off. It is, or shoot the ball in your touches sometimes, the glitchiness, ball going through players, the random reactions, the passes that look awkward when there's delay, all of that. I don't have the technical terms, but you guys know exactly what I'm talking about. The defense, by the way, is one of the biggest problems still, because even though they quote-unquote fixed jockeying, the defenders still have abrupt stops, making it easy for opponents or yourself to use and abuse zigzag dribbling, where you cut left, cut right, cut left, cut right, because eventually you're going to get beat defensively. That is one of the reasons why players park the bus and then will use their AI to try to win the ball while they use their defender and kind of cover gaps. The problem with that is that with the spacing the way it is, which by the way, when this game first released, the spacing was great. It was one of the many good things that it had over FC. It came out during the FC 25 garbage era before their first big patch to even get that game out of just total nonsense. And the spacing just went to crap since then. But because there's no proper spacing, when attackers have the ball, you're going into a lose-lose situation. If you try to commit players forward and attack through this huge wall of defenders, you're going to get the ball taken and then you're counterattacked. But if you sit back, you're inviting the player to just cross over midfield and take a 50-yard shot, maybe a few zigzag dribbles, or cross the midfield and start dribbling with R1, R2, another glitch that just ruins the game because it gives the player an ability to sprint in a way that the defense isn't equipped to deal with. It can turn a 60 pace player into a 99 pace player. The defenders, when you go to try to tackle the ball, you'll kind of bounce off of them. And that's probably the worst glitch that you'll see here as the game goes. But you see some zigzag dribbling here. And when you add that to the lagginess, the delay, it just makes the game feel terrible. The fluidity is gone. The ability to create any type of true buildup is gone. And you're frustrated right off the bat. Look at these huge touches, right? The only reason that's occurring is because every other command that I'm putting in is being registered, right? Now you see there, I was actually demonstrating the difference. These are the type of shots that you have to take, and those are the type of animations you get over and over and over and over. If you have a player with, let's say, an ability perk to do like the low finesse shot that it looks like it's going 100 miles an hour, you just get inside the box or within 25 yards. Maybe you give yourself a better chance of scoring there, but those type of finesse shots, if you get it at the perfect angle, the keeper does the same dive. Look, here's the through ball glitch, almost, but it didn't quite go off. Now, I want to explain this, but let's go back to the shots. If you get it the perfect angle, the ball's going to go into the upper corner every time. Goalie does the same diving animation and misses it. If you're not at that perfect angle, you're going to miss every time. It doesn't matter if you get all the way into the box, you're 8 yards away, you have what would be typically like a 98% conversion rate to score. In UFL, it's a 0%. There are certain angles that guarantee goals, including that 50-yard angle where the ball just goes upper 90 every time from the long ranger shot. Everything in this game is basically like programmed or coded in. There isn't like you create the play and then you can score these beautiful goals. If you notice, let's for instance say Boris Legends series he was paid to do, look at his highlights. A vast majority of the goals are the same angle, 50-yard, 40-yard, 30-yard, long ranger shots. Same angle, same exact finish at the same part of the net. A player could never, ever, ever do it. It's the most unrealistic thing ever. But because of the park the bus defense, because of the lack of the ability to score in all the different ways you would typically score, this is what the game turns into, right? But instead of players still trying to play the game, even if it means you're going to have to create more chances to score regular goals, they just say, forget it. That's when you'll see players go to the corner, zigzag the whole time and cross, L1 square lob crosses, which glitch out the defense. Your air sentinel ability perks and everything else just goes away. And if you have a taller attacker, they're able to just dunk the ball in unless you get lucky enough where your keeper can come out and get it. But obviously, the Rats practice this to the point where they make it where they cut out and put the ball going away from the goalkeeper, making it hard for your keeper to come get it. Then it's the same thing with R1, R2. They get those perfect angles. They know right when to stop when they approach the defender, make a couple sharp zigzag cuts. Once they get around that defender, back to R1, 2 dribbling until they can get a shot. Go watch Boss Man, Katie, whatever his name is, that has zero skill. He does what I'm talking about every time. Go watch how he gets the ball with whatever player. A lot of times it's his cam in the center of the field and just sprints a million miles an hour. It looks like the gameplay is just moving faster than usual. It's because he's holding down R1 and R2, just sprinting, using a glitch to get in and create chances, right? Or, of course, you get into your center midfielders, pass back and forth between 2 long ranger players until you get that perfect angle, hit the 50-yard shot, and score. There's no build-up. There's no up, back, and through. None of that. It is complete and utter garbage. So what you notice is everything I'm talking about, it just keeps piling up. There's not many positives at all. We didn't even get to the point where look at how I just ran through that defender, right? This is something you face every game, largely due to the delay, whatever you want to call it. But we haven't even got to the point where there's automatic magnetic passes. Notice how your passes never have kind of like a free flow to them, like your pace and the where you place the pass or leading players on. The balls will go right to the players, or your through balls will go perfectly led. Where it, like I said, it's a through ball glitch where the game programs and says this attacker is going to receive this pass, meaning that even if you read it and your defender could get there first, you get glitched out. The game does not allow you to get the ball. It is the most ridiculous thing you've ever seen. No other game has these type of issues. Now, another alleged thing, whether this is true or not, and look, my defender was just ahead there, so it didn't glitch me out. If I would have been in a different area, right, what would have happened is, as the opponent played that ball, my defender would have automatically slowed down, went in behind the attacker, and the attacker would get a free breakaway. If you guys don't know about this glitch, but you've been in a situation where you're like, why did my defender all of a sudden get ran around? I had to jump on the attacker. That's the through ball glitch. Players will play it from this area right here. They'll play it around midfield, but you have to get the angle right. Again, it's a glitch. Who knows why it's that particular or those particular angles, but it is. So you see here, the opponent will just sit with, what, 7 players right in front of his box, use the AI, get into this area, and look to get a 50-yard shot or look to cross. Again, this opponent is either not as good at doing these things and was going for them, or actually was not going for the glitchy nonsense. And nonetheless, this is what the game looks like. Look at my defense as well. I have my defensive line high. I'm not parking the bus as far as settings go, but notice where the back 7, because I'm playing a 4-3-3, notice where they go and sit every single time. Look at this again. Look at all the players surrounding the box. Notice how there's never free-flowing buildup. It's always backs up against the defenders, which are the worst type of goals, the most unrealistic, and then you work the ball around until you get that open 50-yard shot. Or go to the corner, play a lob cross, right? But yet, notice the difference between myself and what many players are doing. I refuse to put the ball into. I have free crosses this whole time, as you guys see. I have Holland up top. A vast majority of players here are going to lob cross, lob cross, lob cross. A vast majority of players are going to hold R1 and R2, run in a straight line until they get through. And if they don't, they'll try it again. If they don't, they'll try it again. Nobody is actually trying to pass, give and goes, trying to still get something. You've seen the shot there. That's why. You can score a 50-yard bomb in the corner every time, but you can't score a shot like that. Even though I got a corner out of it, right? These types of shots are not going to go in unless maybe your player has the ability perk with the fast shot or the fat low-driven shot. So, again, it's just problem after problem after problem that makes the game pointless to play. Corner kicks. I wanted to try to show this. I went short here, but I wanted to try to show, I wish I did it on this play, where you flick it on and the defense locks up, similar to the through ball glitch. The ball, no matter what, will just go through the defenders. They turn into ghosts. Then you get a free shot on goal. Now, a lot of the times the keeper will block it, but previously it was an automatic goal. If you go look at my earlier videos, you'll see what I mean. It doesn't change the fact that you still can glitch out the opponent's defense with a flick on. Players will try that too. You don't see it as much, but more veteran rats, let's call them, will play a lob through ball up to, let's say, a Holland or a striker. They'll then head it through, right? And because it's in the air, it'll do the through ball glitch, but it will lead the attacker in a different way. If they can't get the through ball glitch on the ground, that's one thing they'll do as well. And that's what you see. You see a lot of these plays. If any of you know about what I'm talking about, it will be a striker making a run. The opponent will play just a slight lob through ball, not to where it would send the attacker in on goal, because those will get hung up in the air. That's how they prevented you just doing through balls over and over. They just do a slight lob through ball to the attacker, purposely setting it up to where you can then send your other attacker on the run through. And from a certain angle, once again, it will glitch defenders out. That's what these rats go for. Over and over and over. And what the problem with that is there's no such thing as any type of pass freezing up a team from being able to defend. That is absolutely ridiculous. Because on many of these plays, you would actually be able to run through on goal and to catch up to the player running through on goal and at least have a 1v1 situation where you can try to defend it. No. The game in these situations gives the attacking team essentially a free shot. So when you have players starting to go for these, same with those lob crosses where you literally have no chance. Your goalie can go for them, your defenders, it doesn't matter. Like right here, any other player is crossing that. I could have done it 3, 4, 5 times, and you'll see why it's so frustrating at the end. Just in case you didn't see it, I want to rewind this and show you. Oh, we're past it. So we go here. Look at those stats. In case because of my talking, you were paying attention to that and not watching. I want you to pay attention closely to these stats. I want you to look at the passes. I want you to look at the pass accuracy. This is, in any other football game, 3, 4, 5, 6, nothing. Now, I will say eFootball has this problem too, but notice those are the two most dead games right now. Everybody in the player base is almost unanimously sick of the game and sick of the gameplay. These are the type of stats that you'll get against, and I'm not saying this player wasn't even, maybe not even considered a rat. Maybe his goal, you could see what happens, but these players, they sit there and they get destroyed. They don't know how to pass. They don't know how to play football, but they know how to use the glitches, and all it takes is one of them because of the ridiculous amount of effort it takes to score a goal if you're not going to be a rat, if you're trying to play regular football. At least in FC, let's say, it didn't used to be this way. Don't trust me. I know that overall, because it's with eFootball, the two oldest games, years and years and years of nonsense over there. I'm not absolving EA Sports or their gameplay at all. But in the past several years, they have never, ever gotten anything close to as bad as something like Smart Assist in eFootball. And because we're doing a UFL video, all of the nonsense in UFL. Never where the defense locks up and you can't do anything so the opponent gets a free breakaway on goal where you can send a certain cross and the defense just locks up. Yes, they've had the same delay issues, which at the beginning, UFL had that advantage. That was a big plus for UFL over FC, and that's gone. Both games have terrible connection issues or delay issues, whatever you want to call it. But all of this nonsense exists only either in UFL or in eFootball because of Smart Assist. So you will be destroying a player, but they have the computer's help, so their defense will make those last few adjustments to keep them from getting scored on, or the script comes in. eFootball is the game with a ridiculous script. I don't believe that's the case in UFL. Right? And I know Konami denies, but it's no different than UFL will deny maybe that this is a rip from FIFA 16. Or deny that they shut down servers all over the world, even though the connection's terrible, right? These companies deny a lot of things, but that's where you have to read between the lines and use your own judgment based on your experiences. I know tons of players watching go through this, and the reason these exist is because out of these chances, out of this domination, I refuse to just go for the ratty nonsense. Issue number one is that a majority of players would go for the ratty nonsense here, which that's no good. That makes the game not pointless to play, right? Or even if the player dominating doesn't go for the nonsense, guess who will? The opponent. So no matter how you look at it, the game will just be totally ruined. So here we are in the 60th minute. It's going to be much of the same. 20-something passes out of an entire half to like 60, 70, whatever that was. You can go back and look. I mean, 0 shots. I don't even think he crossed midfield. Now, look at the defense. Look at the bouncing around of the ball. Look at the tackle backs. It's issue after issue. How I got up the field there, notice what I was holding. R1, R2. The minute I don't, ding dong, the play's over, right? Everything that works in this game, even though it's cheesy garbage, is broken mechanics or glitches. Everything else is in shambles, right? You see there, that is the number one play for getting a shot on goal. At that point, if I had the volume up, the commentary, I just was done. I was like, guys, it's pointless. I'm sick of even trying to break this down. It's the dumbest thing ever. You can't do proper build-up. Every attack ends with your attackers' backs to the defenders trying to go for the same zigzag runs, this and that, or trying to get the ball to your midfielder to run at the angle to score. If I would have went back post there, by the way, that was a goal. But even on these, I'm not some rat. I think of like in the moment playing football. I'm not just, oh, this is the play where if I do this, it's an automatic goal. Plays like that don't exist in football. There are no automatic goals. There are no automatic goals. It's complete trash. I went for the lob cross there. Overpowered it. Right? Again, at this point, I was totally done. This was going to be my last game no matter what. And I'm just trying to show that no matter what you do, the game is totally toast. That is the one good thing that I feel like they fixed, even though in this case it's like, give me something where I can actually play football. But for lob through balls, they actually did good to hold them up. Now, that's the one lob through ball that can get through, by the way, and I wanted him to volley it. Of course, he didn't. But if your player has catapult, of course, they're going to make that play style powerful because they want you to go buy those players. By the way, in this game, you pretty much can only get the very best players with these very best ability perks if you put your own money in. And bingo. Now, I want you to know what happened here. He found that perfect angle where Rafinha, who has a special shot, it was pretty much an automatic goal. I want you to think about the nonsense of this. This player did not get one shot on goal the entire game and won't the rest of the game. This player had maybe, you'll see the stats at the end, maybe a third of the passes, a third of the success, didn't try to play one bit of football. My player does the wrong animation there instead of the volley, which is so OP because I have fast shot with this, it would have been a goal. And there's literally nothing I could do there for it. So instead, I'm rewarded like this. Now imagine a player playing this over and over and over. Nobody's going to do that. Nobody's going to look at this and go, oh, that was enjoyable. Oh, that was realistic. Everything about this was nonsense. Now I want you to understand something. There's nothing wrong with this build-up. What I'm pointing out to you is that all those chances I created don't matter because all the opponent has to do is get in that perfect angle. The same thing with the finesse shots. The same thing with the 50-yard, 40-yard, 30-yard power shots. The same thing with the glitch through balls. The same thing with the lob crosses where you get to that certain angle where the ball is served where the keeper doesn't come out and get it, right? It's all about just getting to these certain points on the field and then you're guaranteed a goal. That is not football. Every one of these, the common thing is you get to a certain point on the pitch, you're guaranteed a goal. Every one of these games, the common thing is you see in the corner, you get that warning, bad connection, whatever, that never used to happen. Now that's just about every game. Every single game you're facing opponents just going for nonsense. So the football is just dead. There is no such thing as going for that perfect angle to score a goal to win a game. That's only in UFL. I'm not saying that it didn't used to exist in FC and FIFA and FC where you get to that certain angle, perfect finesse shot. People that say it's like that now, no, not even close to this. You cannot do something like this every single time and be guaranteed a goal, even if your players have finesse shot plus. Not this far out, not this drastically where defenders get locked up, where the keepers do the same exact dive every single time. There is no such thing as this being a 100% chance of scoring in football or any other game. In UFL, this is a 100% goal every time. Right here, you could bet your life on it every single time. No matter what, the goalkeeper is going to do the same animation. This is a goal, right? Every time. He has his special Trivella-like shot, and they guarantee it. It's like a coding, not in the run of play, a random shot. As soon as this was taken, it was guaranteed to be this. You can almost tell, too, by the keeper's reaction. You could move the keeper. You could do anything you want here, and it does not matter, right? So that one play, and look where the player got to guarantee him a goal on this. It wasn't even like it was poor defensive play necessarily, right? Look at this. Look where he's at. Not much of a dangerous area. I still got my full team back, basically. But it was guaranteed a goal. So now the rest of the game, it's the same exact thing. Okay? And I want you to see the final stats of this, so you can understand exactly what this game looks like. This, my friends, is UFL. Just as shitty as eFootball, by the way, because of both situations. It's totally different with Smart Assist in this, but the same outcome being that they're dead games. Right? If it's not something like this, ridiculous BS, it's a game where maybe there's even stats, but guess what? You went for regular shots and got 0 goals, and your opponent went for nothing but lob crosses and glitch through balls, right? And 50-yard long ranger shots and scored 5 or 6 times. You could have even played the better football, passing, moving, getting players in, but because you weren't at those exact right angles, because you didn't go for those glitches that locked the defenders up, or those shots that got the goalkeeper where no matter what, it's a goal, you get punished for it. That's not football, guys. That's not skill gap. That's not truly competing, right? That's competing at using the most broken nonsense, but that's not competing at football. And let me remind you, that right there was the most non-glitchy, non-trash game that you're going to see. And I know anybody that plays UFL understands that. That game was actually, let's call it the cleanest game that you're going to get. And it still ended in the player getting one shot the entire time, clearly on paper, and if you just watch, knowing football, far inferior skill-wise, gameplay-wise. I mean, terrible. Everything that I did, it didn't matter because I didn't go into those glitch areas, those guaranteed areas to score. So you'll have some of these players that, like they came in last time when I'm going off on the rats, or saying, like, how do you waste your time just to go for either a glitch through ball every time, or just to go try to get a shot at a certain angle? How could you ruin the game like that and waste your time? Like, it's a waste of your time more than anything. That's like literally painstaking. That gives me anxiety just thinking about players playing like that over and over and over. Nothing else works the entire game because they didn't go for anything else. All that player wanted to do, now obviously I didn't really understand that until he finally got that shot with Rafinha, but they just weren't good overall, even at trying to get glitches going. But that's all it took, is that right there, right? And if that player was good at getting to those glitch areas, that could have been a game where he could have turned that to 3 or 4 shots, 4 goals. And the only way you can stop it is if you join in and start using it too. And that's where the players will come in. First they'll say, oh, how dare you reach out to these rats. They bought the game, or they paid for players to let them play how they want. Not looking at the bigger picture that these guys are ruining the game for everybody because of the selfishness. I have a video coming out tomorrow going into detail with that. I strongly suggest you watch it, because a vast majority of people understand and don't give these guys sympathy. They don't deserve it. They are selfishly ruining a game for everybody. Oh, it's just a game. People put hundreds and thousands of hours in this, put their hard-earned money into this to play football. And because these selfish losers just have to have misery loves company, right? They have to have other people struggle and hate the game all because they don't have skill or because they just want to win at something so bad, even if they don't earn it, even if they don't put in the work to get skill to do it, they just have to. The most selfish loser shit ever. Giving people a piece of your mind, such as like if someone's texting and driving, you would never say, oh, let them, it's their phone, it's their car, it's their business. No, because when they're texting and driving, they're putting you and everyone else's lives in danger. Now, that's the far extreme of it, as I say in the video. But when you make these connections, it's like people don't realize the true gravity of what these losers are doing. Because when they play like this, they chase players away. When they chase players away, the development company doesn't have as many people with microtransactions to make the money that they need to then make the changes that they need to make the game better. All of this adds up, and you end up with shut down servers a year into the game, which leads to what? Way worse connection, which leads to what? Less players even more, and it keeps spiraling until the game closes out because they can't keep it going anymore. There's not enough players. Go look at what's happening at FC, which is 1,000 times better than UFL right now. And it's funny when some players will say, this is still the best football game, or this is still better. It's just a bunch of ignorant people speaking, and their words they can say whatever they want. Like this asshole that came in here, OB3 Hunna. Oh my god. OB3 Hunna. In case you're wondering, that's OB300, but he's a cool gangster on Twitch. OB3 Hunna. Oh, bro, what you ass on this too? Right? And it's like, you can't speak against a game that has hundreds and thousands of videos speaking on this stuff. Right? And all of a sudden act like just me out of everybody is wrong. No. I'm just pointing out the obvious. When the certain players are like, yeah, but why does it suck? Or why are players getting so frustrated? Because not everyone plays football at a certain level. But even if you didn't, you know when you're going for glitches, when you're going for stuff that isn't right. But people just don't understand, like, okay, so what's so much better about FC? If it has delay too, if it has all these broken glitches are in no other game, including eFootball. There is no way to just totally lock up a defense and then guarantee goals from certain shots at certain angles. There's no way to do that in any other football game. That is only a UFL thing, where if your keeper doesn't run out and get a lob cross, you're guaranteed to get dunked on. Where a through ball from a certain angle guarantees the attacking player a through, getting a free break on goal. Right? Where a certain angle finesse shot or 50-yard shot with a player with a certain play style guarantees a goal. Or at the very least, a crossbar hit if you power too much. But if you power right, guaranteed goal. Keeper, no chance. Where passes are guaranteed to be connected. There is no variance. There is no pass goes off a little because of the power of the aim. Or it's all magnetized. You could be in your box, facing sideways, press the pass button, and the ball will travel whatever distance it needs to. If your striker is 60 yards away, it will be a perfect rope pass straight to your striker on the ground from what would have to be a clearance in real football, right? The ball just boom magnetizes straight to the player's feet, which is why passing stats mean nothing in this game. It's also why players' identity doesn't work in this game. You don't see the differences in players like you do in the other football games. There is no identity. That's why every single player can do every single skill move, guys. So there is no variance with the feeling of each player too, so you don't get that true football feel. It's like the same 11 players running around. It's just they're different sizes. You see what I'm saying? Same type of dribbling, same type of movements. Go turn on the game and do a ball roll with your center back, and then do a ball roll with like Vinny. I'm not talking about the ability perks, because that's something they added in to try to add a variation between players, right? But other than that, because remember, for a long time there weren't ability perks, but other than that, not only are the ability perks not supposed to be created for that reason, right? But they also make the game more gimmicky. Look at what you have. 40% faster low finesse shot. It looks like it's going 100 miles an hour. Oh, the quick shot. looks so unrealistic. Oh, your goalkeeper can move 100 miles an hour when you have that certain play style, or your goalkeeper can rush out at 100 miles an hour. Air Sentinel, the player jumps, 100 feet in the air. Like, it's almost like freestyle football too, if you've seen those special moves that the players have. But that game's meant to be arcade mixed with real football mechanics, and even that game is too clustered up with how far they went with the players' special abilities, right? So now you're leaning on these gimmicky nonsense ability perks, which are the version of FC's playstyle, to give a variance to players, because all the players are the same. There's no player identity. They're all the same, just different sizes. You have movements that should be part of the player duties as part of your ability perks. Hakimi, I have a right back Hakimi. Right back Hakimi, his ability is, he overlaps and attacks. Oh, you mean an attacking fullback? You can literally go into the duties and make your wingbacks overlap, make them attack. So why would that be an ability perk? Valverde's got the only player with this unique ability is he tracks back as a center mid. Instead of just moving forward, he tracks back. Oh, you mean a box to box? So he's the only true box to box in the game that actually tracks back defensively. If you ever see him, that just shows they don't truly go backwards, because otherwise, how could that be an ability perk? And by the way, they have a Trivela shot ability perk, but then Rafinha has a curse breaker, which is a special outside of the foot shot. Well, that pretty much is what else can you do when you shoot with the ball outside of the foot? That's a Trivela. What's the difference with this curse breaker, guys? I get that it looks different in game, but what the hell in real football? I'd love to see this unique shot that Rafinha does to make that different from a regular Trivela. It's just his shooting motion, but it's still a Trivela. I mean, it's so much ridiculousness, guys. It's so much ridiculousness. Let's look at this goal real quick. Let's break this down, right? So that's R1, R2. So watch this. Ladies and gentlemen, you're about to see the through ball glitch. Now, I want you to understand something. I have the jump on this Mbappe. Any other time, I'm putting my shoulder in there and my center back is running in and getting this ball any other time. When you play this ball from a certain angle, and clearly, I think this was that Big Belly. I forgot it. I forgot the dude's name. I have to go and look. I'm talking to him right here, but I forgot his actual name. But we'll look at it after. Lean Belly, I think it was. Right? Many players know him. Complete rat loser. Right? Because many have played against him and said the same stuff. These players know these angles. And so what happens is I cannot tackle this. The game has already decided I cannot tackle this. My defending means nothing. The opponent literally plays these balls, these opponents that do this stuff, play these balls at these angles on purpose. So watch what happens here. I want to show you. Doesn't matter what I do. Doesn't matter if I try to body him. It doesn't matter. This is a through ball glitch. The coding in the game says Mbappe or whoever the receiver is must get this ball. It is even worse sometimes when the defender will be further ahead, because then you really see it in action. But it doesn't matter what you do, right? This ball is going through. There's times if you play it at a certain angle where the ball will run right to your keeper, where you're like, what are you doing? Pick it up, pick it up. And the attacker will just be able to run in, and the keeper will stand there and stare at the ball until the striker comes in and just kicks it in. This has been a glitch in the game forever. Dagger used to famously do it all the time. He had it down pat where he'd play the ball perfectly. It would sit right there in front of the keeper, literally like a foot away, and your defenders would just stand and watch. The keeper would stand there. The defender always runs in behind the attacker. You're going to see it here. They always end up running in behind the attacker. That's where the game wants them, and the attacker runs in and can finish the ball. Every single time. This is not a skilled play. Now, an ignorant person would not understand this, right? That would not understand this, but anybody who plays this game and has played it long enough and constantly goes for these, trust me, they know what they're doing. But if you've been seeing these and going, man, he plays those perfect balls, or man, Mbappe's just really strong. No. This is a through ball glitch, guys. Look, and my defender every time will run in straight behind him. Right? Oh, well, he bumped him, man. That was skill. That was bumped. It's an automated play. 100% of the time. You've seen it in the other game. It happened with an Isaac. No matter what, this is a coded in play. You can't do a thing about it. Right there. No matter what, every single time, the attacker is going to win that on the through ball glitch because it's a coded in play. That doesn't exist. I could go for a slide tackle. I could go for anything. I could have been 3 yards ahead of the attacker. No matter what, they're in here. Now, some players that are ignorant don't really understand what's going on. Will be like, oh man, I just was off. I missed a tackle a little, or oh man, that Mbappe or Messi or whoever it is running through was so elusive there. I get it, man. I get it. If you haven't been playing this game a long time, it can be easy to misunderstand that. But notice how certain players you play against, man, how come every through ball's perfect? How come they keep just barely beating me through every single time? It's a glitch, guys. There's no such thing as that in real football where no matter what, you have 0% chance of defending a through ball or defending a player or winning a tackle. That's only in in UFL. Not that eFootball is dead in its own way, but this is why, as bad as FC is in so many ways, they continue to be the king because no players are going to leave that game and come to this dog shit for one. Notice even the devs in these games. Nobody, just UFL. Nobody pays eFootball or UFL creators to go play FC. EA Sports doesn't do that, do they? But guess what? UFL surely goes after FC creators. Oh, well, they've been around a long time. Okay, fair enough. But the point is, FC makes all these mistakes, but they always know when to reel it in. They always know when to make certain changes. And I think my boy Kevin is correct. If these guys allegedly ripped off FIFA 16, which is when this game went into development, guys. This is over a decade of work, and this is what we have, by the way, which is pathetic. But it makes sense if they ripped FIFA 16, and so the framework of the game's already there. Just imagine a house. It's already got the framework done. The foundation's laid. Everything's there. You can only build on top of it. But if all of a sudden, let's say you add a bathroom where the bedroom's supposed to be, you're going to have problems because the plumbing won't match up. So now there's going to be issues. You go to run the water, well, guess what? The water's meant to be ran over here. It's similar to that. They put this coding on top of the game, and when it doesn't match up, you get these issues. That's why we still have the through ball glitch. That's why we have the lob cross glitch. And notice how all these glitches go over and over. Now, I want you to understand that should have been a goal right there. Why from that area is there no goal? Look at trying to attack, by the way. Look at the defenders in the box. This is ridiculous. This is ridiculous, and it's every single time over and over. Now watch this. Okay? This is where it gets really good. Okay? Tackle the ball. Nope, doesn't matter. Doesn't matter. This is where goals understands where real life football has to take a back seat a little bit, because every single time in UFL this happens. I show it over and over and over. These players get rewarded and you get punished for proactive defending or making the right play. I perfectly time a tackle. I win the ball, but this is my reward. I want you to watch this. Huh. Okay, now watch. I thought that was the one. So what will happen at certain times is your player won't tackle it and they'll be able to run through. So I don't know if he didn't have R1, R2 there, if I got the right angle. But you'll see in certain games where you literally like have the ball and you're like, no way, and the player will run through. So it didn't happen there. So we keep going. It might have been here. I remember this player might have been a different one. Okay, it was a different one. So we'll see this guy's shot again before the half. It's coming 43. Okay, I rewound it a little further back. So I know for a lot of you, I'm not telling you anything different, but it's so crazy that certain amount of players that play this game like don't see these things. This is it right here. Okay. Now that right there, this is a goal, guys. He beats my defender. He's got Del Piero. Great finishing. What's the problem here? It's not at that guaranteed angle. This isn't programmed to be a goal, therefore the goalie will save it every single time. So when you do something like this and create a play in the run of play, it doesn't matter. And the problem, though, is that if you're playing non-glitchy football and you're trying to go for actual whatever you create, you're never going to be in those positions. You have to get totally lucky to end up in those positions for guaranteed goals. Otherwise, they're saves every time. So it makes it impossible and pointless to play. You either have to play this game and go for the broken shit, go for those certain angles for guaranteed goals, or there's no point in playing because you'll get stuff like this. And every time, that's what will happen because that's not programmed to be a goal. You see it every single time. For these to score like what you would say would be like a like an area where it's not like that guaranteed scripted in, programmed in, coded in, whatever the proper term is, angle, you have to literally get all the way in, like closer than the PK spot, and just hammer it as hard as you can, right? But that in true football is what? Mid 90s, 95, 96% conversion rate from a player like Del Piero. So I want you to look at the stats once again. It does not matter. All that matters is that my opponent got the through ball glitch and scored. Right? Even the other one chance that he earned out of his two, that last one before half was his only other chance. It didn't matter because he wasn't at that certain angle. So it's a battle of who can get into the broken, glitchy positions, and that's who wins the game. So those players who are like, you could do it too, man, so it's fair. Do you really think that's going to drive players in? Imagine that pitch to get new players. The game where glitches are fair on both sides. Everybody has a fair chance to go for broken mechanics and glitches to try to win the game because nothing else works. Have fun playing, guys. But guess what? You get great customization, and we have icons now. Yes, they all run the same and do the same skill moves the same exact way, shoot the same way. But, yeah, the glitches, you can both do them fair and square. Good luck. You know what I mean? Zero football, zero. It's just pointless. This is just facts, guys. So let's keep going into this beautiful second half. And I want you to keep in mind, too, that look at that. This is what I'm talking about here. Gosh, I keep bringing it too far back. I apologize. Oh, my goodness. So what exactly was that right there? Unless that was a different one. Now, every other football game understands on these that to make it work, to make the defense get rewarded, there is a stumble. There is a stumble after you take the ball away. But UFL can't understand that, which is why you still have horrendous tacklebacks. I just laughed before. You seen the ball, ping, 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 ping. Now watch this. So good defense gets rewarded with my opponent continues forward. Now I know I've only been fast forwarding, so I've shown you that twice now in this game. But it happens, as you know, if you play over and over and over, and it's just negative. What is the positives that you guys are seeing? Oh, I like how the passes automatically connect, says nobody ever that wants to actually play football. The beautiful thing about eFootball, for example, and FC's gotten better at it in goals, is the variations in passing, the crispness of the passing, right? These are magnetic automatic passes. Like there's literally a magnet. You no matter where you kick the ball, as long as there's no deterrence in the middle, it's gonna zing right to the player's foot. Zing, 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 zing. Everybody's got 99 plus passing. Right? Kick a ball 70 yards, zing, gets right to the player's feet. There is no leading the player unless it's that glitch, the glitch through ball where it's like, it's still like on a magnet. Like the attacker is going to run to this spot when you press triangle, and the ball is going to go to this spot, and they're going to meet here every single time. There's no variation like there is in football. There's none of that clean, like, oh, that was perfectly weighted. Oh, just beyond the defender. That was brilliant. The stuff that makes like Pirlo and De Bruyne and so fun to watch, right? And even like Pedri and Xavi and Iniesta, all these brilliant passers that put that perfect curve in the ball would go right in the line of the attacker, and there's none of that. It's just straight line, zing, 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 magnetic, boring, unrealistic, nonsense passes with ping pong bounces every time you try to go for a tackle. So there's no true collisions, no true tussles between attackers and defenders. And even FIFA 16 is way ahead of that. Look at my video from today talking about these guys ripping from FIFA 16. The mods who make the updated versions of FIFA 16 have a 10,000 times better game than these guys. Go check for yourself. You can see I put the gameplay right next to each other. The only difference is they ramped up the customization and graphics to modern day. So FIFA 16 original, which I show in my video thanks to Nick Runs the Foot Market playing it, you can see the much better gameplay much better graphics in UFL. But as far as the camera angle and movement and all that, the crispness, the you can tell like the variation in passes and stuff, FIFA 16 is smoking UFL, guys. Go look for yourself. Go look for yourself. Everything that these guys built on top of it, it's like the best company in the world did the framework and the foundation, and then some shitty company came in and tried to do the rest. And you can see when you have like a beautiful foundation, a great framework as FIFA 16, it's like it's been a decade since we had great football. It's like that was a dying era of great football. So this technically could be a gem, because if they truly, because it's a legend, remember, but if they truly did rip FIFA 16 to make their own game off of it, it could be amazing. But like those mods, when you look in my video, you'll see the modified version of FIFA 16. Those guys clearly have skill and know what they're doing, whereas these guys created this garbage. But go look at that modded version of FIFA 16. There's not one person out there that would want to play this over that. Look at that. You manually defend, and every single time you're punished. Now my player is all out of position, even though I read his pass like a book, got to where I should have had it. Guess what happens in goals, for instance? I'm running on a counterattack right now. FC, I'm running on a counterattack. Even eFootball, I'm running in on a counterattack. It's only UFL for many of these issues. It's insane. Notice the difference. I'm not taking my user control player, sitting in front of my defense, and then holding R1. I'm actively trying to defend. Do I know that it's very hard to do? Do I know? Yeah, but I don't care. I'm going to play football. I'm not going to just run away and let my AI do everything. Otherwise, why even play? It's much more rewarding, and it's actually football where you're making the decision. I'm going to use my defensive skill to win the ball back. You should use your defensive skill or your attacking skill to try to break down my defense. That's the beauty of these games. Again, that's why goals was so far ahead. Now, yes, people at the end started abusing the zigzag dribbles and the crosses, for instance, are OP. Like a lot of the same issues as UFL. But because of everything we've seen so far, I have faith that they'll fix that stuff, which is where UFL has fallen off. Time will tell. If goals can't fix it, we'll just have another sharper, crisper version of UFL, but still not good, still frustrating. If they are able to fix this stuff with all these months they have until beta, then full release, which will culminate with like the start of the World Cup. So if they can't do it by then, that sucks. But with UFL, not only have they been out over a year because they didn't do the public alpha like Goals did, so Goals was genius for doing that to get all that stress testing and stuff. But they still had over a year of us playing this game to know what's broken, and then 10 years behind the scenes. So this nonsense is just inexcusable, guys. That's literally all you can go for. And notice I won it, but I wasn't at that right angle. But, by the way, what is that right there? By the way, I rewound it too far. You just can't get any type of proper build-up because there's 7 players every time and none of your players around. So tell me here what happens, by the way. I don't even know, guys. I mean, I just don't even understand it. I didn't want to play it on the ground because I felt like it would through ball glitch him, and then I'm just another hypocrite. Even though he through ball glitched me. And now if I go back, I wish I would have done it. There's a 50-yard shot. It's just like you can't play this game properly. You've seen the last game, 8 shots in a row, 80% possession to 20, whatever it was, and it doesn't matter. It's like if you try to play good football in this game, you're just going to get toast. Now I want to take you back here. This is that bounce off play. This is what I was talking about with Isik. Hold on here. Now I want you to notice something. Players who are ignorant are going to look at this and be like, oh my God, the defending. Isik versus, I believe that's Delete. Okay? Delete wins in the strength battle. Now I want you to understand what's happening here. You actually seen it right there. I want you to watch this pause in the movement. This is what happens during these glitches. I'm going to make it playback speed will go 0.5. Now, when players don't know what's going on, they could be like, what are you complaining about, man? That was beautiful. Now, this player did it to me already in the first half. You've seen me play over and over and over, and I still have yet to have one through ball glitch happen against my opponents because I don't go for them. But yet you're going to try to tell me that this player isn't a rat trash can, even though the only success he's had the entire game, it happens to be both goals coincidentally are from the perfect angles for through ball glitches. Anybody who knows about this knows that this is one of the 2 angles. The other angle is the other one. He knows them exactly. There's a third one too towards the middle. It's to the right or left of the arc on the top of the box. And that's the one that you play that Dagger always did where it freezes right in front of the goalie. But there's so many players that are ignorant here that would be like, look at this skill. Look at this skill. Now watch closely. Did you see it? You want me to show you again? Did you see how there looked like there was an invisible wall there, guys? Did you see it? I could play it 1,000 times in a row. 1,000 times in a row. To all you guys who watch this in fast pace and go, what are you talking about? Or there's no... If you know, you know. But for you couple of morons that don't get why I go off on these players for ruining the game, that don't get why the trash cans that stream this game and that use this shit to be successful while not even telling their audience and act like it's skill. Watch my center back. Watch close. Boom. You see it? Like there was an invisible wall there. Now look, this part was part of the coding. It put me purposely behind. Now remember that little wall that happened. Remember that little wall. Nice block there, by the way, or attempted block that you can't do because it wasn't in the coding. Remember that little invisible wall part where my center back, I believe it was Delete, wasn't able to run because he would add the jump. And the game said, nope, that's a goal. This is that angle. This is a through ball. The attacker has to win this ball. Here it goes again. Watch closely to my center back. Watch very closely. He'll randomly stop as if he's running into a wall. Right here. You see it? And then the wall goes away, but then it creates that. If that little wall play didn't happen, think about where I'd be. You can do it. Take a stopwatch if you wanted. I'd be perfectly in front of Isik winning this ball. It was the same thing on the first goal with Mbappe. So they had to set it up. So what they have coded worked out. Where, oh, look at this tussle. This was a random tussle. This was skill, guys. This was skill. He perfectly pushed him off there. No, he didn't do shit but play the through ball at the angle to freeze up my defender, which you're going to see once again. Maybe if I slow it up even more, you can see that wall even more. Now, I'm not saying that many players don't know this, but it's funny how content creators, a few of them, the Boss Mandilo with the R1, R2, and then Richie did the through ball glitch to me. It's funny how these creators are playing like, oh, look at that beautiful ball. Or, oh, man, he's so fast. And it's like they're using these known glitches. But these guys weren't creating content when I was started, or they were itty bitty. Same with like Pantera was smaller too. And I'm not putting Pantera in the same category as these other idiots. Without a doubt, he's above them. I'm not saying he's not. I'm just saying that trying not to say that this is a dead game, that is complete bullshit. Trust me, I had the views, I had the audience too, but there comes a time where you have to face the facts. And this game is just totally screwed. Watch what happens. Think about playing a game where you have no control. Look, I get the jump on him right here. Boom. Right here. I got the jump on him. My Delete, I have the jump on him. Now watch closely. Forward motion and then boom, like there's a wall. Watch. See it? Boom. Not so fast, Delete. It's like the puppeteer held him back. And now he's in. And because people don't take the time to see a lot of that stuff, they'll miss it. And then they'll say, skill issue, bro. Oh, really? Well, what do you do when the game literally stops your center back and puts him purposely behind the ball because your opponent is a piece of trash and goes for the glitch through ball, right? These players that know how to go for this stuff are winning, and it doesn't mean shit. They know in their minds. These content creators know in their minds, but they won't tell you. So when I go off on these players, oh, I'm so innocent. Look what this mean guy said to me. Okay, well, tell me that again when you're asking, man, remember UFL, dude? It would have been awesome to have it right now when FC's sucking or eFootball, or just to have another alternative because there was, like, guys, the best memories I've had doing out of, my entire time doing this channel, fully in UFL at first, like that 15-0 weekend on my very first stream. You guys can go watch it right now. My very first stream ever. I streamed Showdown. People were trying to convince me to stream forever, and I finally did it. Because at first I just did the Daily Grind series. I just recorded and showed my games later with commentary. So I finally did it. Streamed for the first time ever. And I did it through... can't remember. I don't even think I had OBS yet. I think I just did it through YouTube or something. I can't remember exactly. But I streamed, and then I did through PlayStation. At the very beginning I would go live through PlayStation. So then, sure enough, I streamed the 15-0 that I got at Showdown. That's when Kevin Pedro came in, and I got to meet him, which I'm so glad I did. And we were like, this game's amazing, man. It's on top of the world. We just need one patch, guys, to fix this few stuff because some of the glitchiness was setting in. And then after that, every patch from that next one after that weekend on, and the game just kept going in worse and worse directions. So I've been there supporting this game. I've been there trying to give strikers the benefit of the doubt. But eventually you got to be honest. So say all you want about skill issue or you're just not a good player or but the 3% that say that are most likely the rat losers that are coming on here after I call them out, rightfully so, because when something's not right, I speak up. That's my nature. I feel like that should be a normal thing, right? And then I know the vast majority of the rest of you know, but for anybody who was ignorant to this just because they were just playing the game, they didn't know, well, now you know. So that's why many have left UFL. That's why I've left UFL. I told you guys I would come in, I would give you my honest take, but before you spend any more money or any more time on this game, before certain content creators try to fluff it up and make it look good, try to get on Striker's good side, just look at the details. Make sure you look at the facts of the matter and choose wisely because it's so disappointing, for instance, when you spend a ton of money on skins and then they just shut down the skin system. I don't want you to do the same thing, but now they shut down the game for good or maybe even shut down this system because the players get too high rated. I mean, you don't know with these guys. It's so unpredictable. There's so much wrong with this game though that they proved they couldn't fix. It would take a miracle from the Lord himself or herself, depending on your beliefs, to fix this. The football gods and or goddesses would need to come do some serious work. And I'd hate to say it, but I just don't have faith in that. So that's that. Keep tuning in or come right back if you want because I got a surprise for you. Now, do I want to say it now? Now we'll wait. Just stay tuned. Make sure you like, subscribe. Obviously, Goals is coming. Obviously, FIFA 2K is coming. But in the meantime, got something a little bit different but badass, something that everyone no doubt loves. So I'll be right back with that live. I just had to close up this chapter because this game means something to me. It's how I started my channel. It's how I met a lot of you guys, a lot of the community who I love to death. Like some of the best people I know that I've constantly encouraged to start channels, and some of them have, and some of them will, I hope, eventually, because they're way more talented than me. Way better than my dumbass. I'm knowledgeable about football, but entertainment-wise, just everything. So if you guys listen to this, thank you so much. I'm glad I made it through UFL. Our journey's not over. There's so much to look forward to. So many exciting games in and out of football. So for that, I'm thankful for UFL. And to the rest of you guys, I'm sorry for the disappointing news. If you still can play this and enjoy it, by all means do it. But I at least wanted to put out the facts so you understood. Keep grinding, keep having fun. Make sure you follow me on TikTok and X as well. I'd really appreciate it. Like I said, like and subscribe to this. Like and subscribe to the channel, video, whatever. You get what I'm saying. And check out my YouTube bio for ways to support the channel if you'd like, while getting some great perks. Also, join my Discord, man. We'd love to hear back from you 24/7. We talk about everything under the sun, mainly football and football gaming. But, yeah, join my Discord. That link's in the YouTube bio, too. So,